consistent sales, especially consistent sales from online, they don't come from hacks or luck at all. And I can share like tons of secretive, digital hacks, but there needs to be fundamentals in place. And mastering those fundamentals is what most people skip. Why am I not getting the sales online, right? Our ego gets in the way. And we think that because we have this credibility and authority in real life, like in person and physical person, that we can skip all these fundamentals online. And it doesn't work that way. It is a much bigger ocean online. Nobody actually knows you. But in order for people to start to get to know, like, and trust you, there are fundamentals that have to happen. Hello, my name is Gina Tassinelli. I'm the owner and founder of Hype Media and Stylishly Branded. And we work with experts, corporate brands, professional service providers, established business owners just like yourself to help you become the category of one irresistible go-to solution to premium clients using the online space. And today, what I want to share with you as we're gearing up for the end of the year, and we are literally as a company, but also with our clients, we are planning out our marketing calendar for 2026. So today, what I wanted to share with you are some of the things that I have been doing now for quite some time to get weekly sales, sometimes daily sales from the online space. Okay. This is like one of the top questions that I get all of the time. Like, Gina, why am I just not making sales from all of the work that I'm putting into showing up online? Whether that's, with your systems, that's with your content, with you showing up, doing video, all of the things. And so I want to walk you through kind of like an SOP of what I do and what we train our clients to do too, our done with you clients that work with us inside of our Ignite Your Influence programs, so that they can get in their own cadence and routine of doing very similar things. Now, here's what I want you to know. This needs to work within your lifestyle and for your business model. And that's what we do when we work together. We make sure that whatever we do I have a framework? Absolutely. But it is always customized to your lifestyle because we all have different lifestyles. We all work different hours. Some people that have their own business, but they also have a full-time job with a corporation, right? So you want to make sure that whatever you're taking from this, you plug and play into your life so that it works for you. Okay. The idea here is to be super organized, to plan ahead, and to create a real cadence for yourself. All right. So let's start with this. Most business owners, most of you are doing all of the right activities in your business, right? When it comes to online, most of you are. You're posting, you're emailing, you're networking, maybe you're doing speaking events, maybe you're podcasting, all of those things, right? But here's what I find, and I'm speaking from my own experience because ladies, and I know there's some guys in here, I used to do the same thing. We're doing all the things, but it's chaotic. Okay. Many times there's no structure. There's no actual system that's connecting all of this visibility into actual revenue, right? And you're showing up online, but you're not actually closing the clients. You've invested in freelancers and maybe ads, but there's no consistent ROI. Anyone feel that way? So I want to show you how I have simplified my marketing so it actually performs like the business behind it. All right. This leads honestly to predictability so that you're generating high quality leads every single week that then you can follow up with and have real conversations. Because here's what I want to say, guys. Sales, especially if you sell higher investment products and services, those sales are going to happen from an actual conversation. They are not going to happen from an automation. They are not going to happen from an email. They're not going to happen from a text message. And they're not going to happen from your website, from you just like sending out the link. They're going to happen from actual conversations. Okay. So what I want you to think about is getting out of the random actions, right? Just because somebody told you that you have to post once a day or whatever, 3 times a day. I want you to think about getting out of those random actions and instead creating what I call, and this is what we've created in our business and what we help our clients create for themselves, a visibility to profits ecosystem. Okay. And this is when I'm talking about like the online space, because I have a whole offline SOP. There's a whole offline business to my business, right? And for most of our clients that we work with, you are already established offline. You have been doing your expertise in the offline space, meaning not online, right? Your clients have come from like in-person connection. That's been happening for decades. If you're anything like me, I've been in this business on my own we're going to celebrate 17 years now. Hype Media is going to be around for 17 years now in December. And when I started back in 2009, I was coming from corporate America for almost 10 years. Like social media was like barely starting, right? So if you're anything like me, we started our businesses offline. But what I want you to think about when it comes to online, you've got to have an actual system, an ecosystem. And so you want to focus on visibility metrics, but you really want to focus above that. You want to focus on your conversion metrics, right? There's got to be a daily rhythm that you have online that's going to connect your audience. And from your audience, they turn into actual relationships. And from those relationships, they turn into sales. That is the whole idea of using the online space. Doesn't matter the platform that you're on. It doesn't matter if you are on a social media platform like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, or if you are on a search engine platform like YouTube or Pinterest. Doesn't matter. The end goal is to actually make a bigger impact in your life and in others and bring in more revenue, right? Unless you just like want the popularity, which I'm not here for that. Okay. I want to cover first are the fundamentals, because consistent sales, especially consistent sales from online, they don't come from hacks or luck at all. And I can share like tons of secretive, digital hacks, but there needs to be fundamentals in place. And mastering those fundamentals is what most people skip, especially people like us that have been around for a while in business. And we're like, wow, I've built this business without the online space. Why am I not getting the sales online, right? Our ego gets in the way. And we think that because we have this credibility and authority in real life, like in person and physical person, that we can skip all these fundamentals online. And it doesn't work that way. It is a much bigger ocean online. Nobody actually knows you. I mean, maybe like your small bubble, yes. But in order for people to start to get to know, like, and trust you, there are fundamentals that have to happen. Okay. So I'm going to go into those first. And when I talk about mastering, this is something that, like, I will tell you this, when I feel like my business is starting to struggle, I'm like, let me take a step back and let me see what is it that I skipped over and that I'm not constantly touching on. And usually I just have to go back to basics. And so the first one is getting really clear on my positioning and my offers. So if your message isn't clear, your marketing is not going to convert, especially online, because most of you are using words meaning text, but also when you are articulating your message, if it isn't clear and you're on video or you're typing out a post or an email, if it's not clear and it's like going way over people's heads because you're not being conversational, you're not being resonant, you're not speaking to your ideal clients as if you are in it with them, and really you're using your expertise, but that's not what's going to resonate with them. It's just going to go over their heads, right? So how do we do this? You need to know exactly what it is that you do, who you do it for, and what is the outcome that you deliver. Okay. Talk about benefits, results. Those are the outcomes, not, when you join us inside of the Ignite Your Influence Vault membership, we meet at least once a month. Who cares? Which, by the way, we do. And those meetings are freaking amazing, right? But who freaking cares? That is not the outcome that I deliver. The outcome that I deliver is that when you work with us, you have feedback, guidance, you have a sounding board, you have a place to actually get real marketing consulting that's not going to break the bank. And now you're going to have a system, you're going to have consistency, you're going to be released relieved, that you have a blueprint, you have, a direction. You're not second guessing yourself all the time. And what does that mean? That means that you can actually work as a CEO and deliver higher results to your clients and actually work as a CEO in your business because you're not doing all of this Googling and YouTubing things, and you have a place that you can actually get handheld support. The second thing is that you need to be able to communicate that in a single or maybe a 2-sentence frame or phrase confidently. It's not the ums, and I do say a lot of ums, but you've got to get it down, what it is that you do. And when your positioning is clear, okay, and your offers are clear, your audience doesn't need convincing. They just need direction into, okay, so tell me what's next. Like, how do I get from point A to point B with you? How do I start working with you? The idea with online is that you want to move your audience to a place of getting to know, like, and trust you so that by the time you go to make an offer to them, they're not like questioning the value or what it is that you do. They're either going to say, okay, here's my credit card. How can I pay you? Or they may throw out some objections even, but honestly, by the time they get to you, they shouldn't even have objections. It should just be a more of like a yes or a no. Okay. All right. Second fundamental to this is a real lead generation process. This is so imperative for the online space. Leads do not just magically appear just because you posted something, okay? You need to have a content strategy that's actually activating your audience and is getting them to raise their virtual hand. And there's so many different ways to do this. This is what we help you with inside of our programs. But I'm going to give you some examples, right? So creating a simple tool. Right now, the tool that's like working the best for my entire lead generation process, actually I have 2. So I offer a mini marketing audit to everyone new that comes inside of this group. We literally sit on Zoom together for 30 minutes. Yes, I take 30 minutes out of my time. We're on Zoom together. I screen share, I record it, and I give it to you. And I go through all of your profiles and your marketing, even your website. And I show you where I see some gaps and where you need to close gaps and how to close those by giving you personalized tips on how to close those so you can move forward and get some results faster, right? So for me, that is a mini marketing audit. Okay. Just full transparency. That is a lead generation resource that I give out. Another one, which is, this is like my highest performing one, and I do run ads for this, and I'm a meta ads agency. So we run ads for our done for you clients, and I teach ads inside of our programs too. And I love ads. They work really well with really low budget, by the way, guys, is our Impact Video GPT. If you don't have this, say the word video because you want it, okay? It's free and it literally writes out your video scripts, your hooks, your headlines, and it does a lot more than that within seconds. That I give away for free, and that is one of my highest lead generation tools. So you've got to have something. It could be a training. It could be a short video. It could be a Loom video or like a screen share video. It could be a resource, right? There's just so many ways about this, but you've got to have something, just even one thing. Okay. And many people online, they don't have that. They just expect, oh, because I posted about my business, people should just want to know more. It does not work that way. Okay. And this is the second part of the lead generation process, is that every piece of content should have a purpose. It needs to have intent, either to attract, engage, or invite into something. Okay. So if you're posting like just what you're eating, cats, dogs, that's just like wasted time on social media. I am all about like using my time as intentionally as possible, because the last thing I want to do is spend all day on social media, right? I am in and out. Okay. So your content isn't just about awareness, but it needs to move people toward connecting with you. That is what content is meant for. Content does not sell people. Like nobody's opening up Facebook today and saying, I wonder what Gina can sell me today. It doesn't work that way, right? Okay. So that's fundamental number 2, having a lead generation process. All right. The third fundamental, you've got to have a follow-up system. So when I post about my video GPT, for example, okay, there's a whole process that happens after that. If somebody says the word video, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to respond to your message, and then I'm going to send you a DM, and I'm going to say, hey, thank you so much for your comment on my live video about our video GPT creator. I'd love to give you access to that first tell me if you're currently using video or not. If you're using video, what is it about video that is not working for you just yet? Because that GPT could help you, but I want to give you better direction in how to use it. Okay. So I'm going to actually have a human conversation with you. And you may also hear my voice because I love to send voice notes. I want you to know that I am a real, actual person. And yes, does this take an extra 5 seconds out of my day? Absolutely. But I'm going to tell you, it is well worth it. Okay. This is part of that follow-up system. You want to follow up with people, and then you need to track those conversations, because I want to come back to you after a few days that you have probably already used the video tool. I want to come back to you and I want to ask you, hey, how did that work for you? Did you have any issues with it? I'm happy to help you. Okay. That's just me serving you. Whether or not you become a client, I'm still going to have a conversation with you. That is not my intent. My intent is to serve you, to make a bigger impact. And sure, do I know that I could help you definitely get conversions from that? Absolutely. And we're here to help you, but that is not why I'm reaching out to you. I want to make sure that that actually worked for you. Okay. The follow-up is not pressure. This is being a professional. This is being a leader. So if you are a true CEO and you are the leader of your business, you have to lead, right? And you need to lead by example and be professional. And that's what following up is. Okay. Fourth fundamental is structure and time blocking. So if you want weekly revenue, you need to structure this into your calendar. Okay. Here's what I mean. A dedicated time daily for visibility, for connection, and for making offers. So I do what I call a power hour every single day. And I will say sometimes I'm laxed on that, right? Like if we are just fully booked and I've got tons of leads coming in and we're fully booked with our client roster and our mastermind, I'm not going to probably spend an hour a day, but I will spend some portion of my day. And it's usually going to be either an hour or 30 minutes or at least 15 minutes. Minimal, but this is daily and it is in my calendar. And this is a dedicated time for number one, sharing content. And I typically just do one post a day. Okay. Second part of that is I connect. It's really important. We have a whole activation process that we teach and that I go through myself. And this is what it is. I spend about 15 minutes connecting with my audience. And then because I'm tracking all of my conversations, I will do follow-ups. And it's just like a rotating cyclical thing that happens on a daily basis. And this is how we're able to get weekly sales. Sometimes it happens daily, right? It depends how much time I invest. So what I want to share is that if you are not getting at least weekly sales, do not blame the algorithm. Do not blame social media. I'm sorry to say, but it's on you because you're just not following a structure, right? So this is what we help our clients with in all of our programs. We have clients that hire us to actually just do this kind of work for them too. But if you are somebody that is, you're a solopreneur or you can't budget out to have somebody like do all of these things, whether it's on automation or hire someone internally, you've got to be the one in charge of this. And I will say the actual sales side of it, right? So like you can hire someone to help you start building connections, but when it comes to the sales, that's really still going to be on you. You could hire somebody to do sales for you. That takes training someone, right? As well. I like to be in control of that part. And again, it depends on what you're selling to. But the idea here is that you've got to have some structure in your business if you want those weekly sales coming in. Okay, so moving away from the fundamentals, but those fundamentals are something that happen literally daily. Okay. The next part of this is the 3 types of content that allow us to move people, to move our audience into an actual conversation to where we can make some sort of offer to them. And by the way, an offer can be free or paid. We're not just talking about paid offers. Okay. So there's 3 main core pieces of content that I like to focus on. The first one is visibility. The second one is connection, and the third one is conversion. And I'm going to share details on each of these. Okay. So the first one for visibility. This is where you are showing up strategically. You are sharing value, right? You're sharing behind the scenes. You are storytelling. Okay. You're sharing case studies. You're sharing testimonials. Proof of work, like one of my business coaches would call, right? People want to know, like, exactly, like, show me social proof. Share more of how your process works, right? That is being really strategic. To me, that is visibility content. All right. So you want to do this weekly. This is not like focusing on random trends. All right. One of my favorite ways to insert visibility into my content strategy on a weekly basis, and this is something that we teach inside of our programs, is to host one live video stream per week that is driving connection, AKA what I'm doing right now. Okay. I do this on a weekly basis. This is one of my visibility pieces of content every single week. I've done about 1,500 plus live streams in my entire live stream journey since about, I would say like 2014-ish, maybe a little before that. And this is it. This is actually, I will tell you, hands down, one live stream a week, doing it at the same day of the week, same time, every week, is what has built the online side of our business into a multiple six-figure revenue a year business for several years now. Okay. So that is my favorite visibility anchor piece of content that I do. But other ones that you could do is sharing behind the scenes, doing storytelling, working with a client, sharing testimonials, sharing case studies. Those are really great visibility pieces of content. Okay. The second one is connection. Now, the thing with connections is this is where things start to fall apart for many people because they're like, well, that just takes too much time. Remember when I said I do like a power hour every day or at least 15 minutes? This is part of connection. Okay. And this is really where those sales are made. So on a daily basis, you should be following up with people that you've already had conversations with. If you get a new connection, whether it's on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on Facebook, send them a personal message, whatever platform it is, and just say, hey, thanks so much for being a part of my Facebook world. I'm so happy to connect. I just wanted to say hi and be social. Have a great day. That is it. That is the beginning of that connection. Okay. If it's somebody that you've sent a free tool to or a free resource, follow up with them after a few days. Ask them, hey, what did you think about it? Did you have any questions? How did it work for you? By the way, did you know that we can help you to actually fast track your results and support you in doing this? Do you want to know more about what that looks like? I mean, you're just asking for permission, for one, if they want to know what that looks like. Number two, you're trying to understand, like, how that resource or whatever that was valuable for them. Or, another thing that I do, this is a little hack. All right. So you definitely want to lean in for this one. People love when I share this one. Power Hour is powerful. And we learned that from one of our business coaches. And I've been doing it for years. When I started plugging that into my business, it just changed my business 100%. And I tell you, it was hard for me to do it because I'm like, I don't have an extra hour a day. Yeah, you do. Instead of like scrolling through social media for an hour or TikTok or getting sucked into one of those, do your power hour. Okay. Here's a hack. This is something that a lot of people don't understand about social media, but if you want more people to see your content, and not just any people, but the right people to see your content, here's what you want to do as part of either your power hour or part of those 15 minutes that you do a day or 30 minutes a day. All right. You want to choose 5 to 10 people a day that you are connected to on the platform that you get the most engagement. So let's say, for example, it's Facebook. All right. On my personal profile, I'm going to choose 5 to 10 people a day that could either be an ideal client, a potential referral partner, or a potential power partner, somebody that you could collaborate with. I'm going to go to their profile. I'm going to comment on their most recent 2 to 3 posts. And I'm not just going to leave like a generic comment or like a one-worded comment. I'm going to leave a genuine sentence comment. Okay. And then I'm going to send them a personal message through DMs. And I'm going to say, hey, I just noticed that this happened. That's so cool. What have you been up to? I'm going to just be a real human. Okay. It's like, I want you to pretend that you're like at the grocery store and you run into someone. Would you just turn around? I mean, unless you don't like the person, typically you wouldn't. You would start a conversation with them. That's it. I'm not going to ask them to sign up for anything. It's not going to be even business related, most likely, unless something that I saw on their content was business related. That's a different story. But typically, this is just like relationship building. Okay. I may do this with a voice note too. It just depends how busy I am too, because sometimes voice notes to me are just faster, but they do actually go a long way because people just feel like, oh my gosh, she took time out of her day to send me an actual voice note. Like, people don't really do that nowadays. Okay. So that is part of connecting. And this is where you start to make daily sales or weekly sales. It's not in the post. It's in the conversations that this happens, right? And again, you're going to be tracking these. Okay. And then the type of content that I use for connecting is going to be what I call an activation post, or many people know as this is like a hand raising post, or a 2-step post is another one. And it could be something like, if I were to do a training on blank, would you want to know? Or, oh my gosh, we just got our client literally 100 leads in a matter of 2 weeks. And she's now starting conversations that she never had. Do you want to know how we did it? Okay. Everyone that comments on that, I'm going to connect with them and I'm going to tell them how we did it. And I'm going to send them a resource on how we did it. And I'm going to share later on in that conversation, not right away, how we can help them do that, because doing it on your own is going to take much longer. Okay. All right. The third part to this is conversion, content, and actions. Okay. So here's what you need to know. You need to know what is your weekly sales goal for one, definitely your monthly sales goal. Okay. And then you got to work backwards from there. Okay. If I have a monthly sales goal of this, how many calls do I need to have this week, next week, the following week, the next 4 weeks? And I know that from this many calls, I get this many sales. How many calls do I need to have? If you don't have those calls booked on your calendar, guess what you need to start doing? You need to start connecting with people to be offering people to get on a call with you, or moving people to something that you have that's going to get people on a call with you. And that's planning ahead. Okay. Simple follow-up systems like DM reminders, a Google Sheet will help, a CRM, even better. So we use Go High Level. That is like our favorite CRM that we use to keep track of everything. For Facebook, we also use Group Track. It is amazing. We use it for Facebook primarily, but you can also use it for Instagram and for LinkedIn. And it is a CRM for those platforms that is really, really great. And it does integrate with, something like Go High Level. And then conversion content, right? So conversion content could be like that hand raising or activation post like I shared, but it's also like you putting your offer out there. Okay. And so many people are scared to actually post their offers online. It's like you are in business. So it's got to be part of your content strategy. Just not every single piece of content should be selling. Okay. That is a mistake. Sometimes people oversell, and then people are scared to even talk to them because they know that they're going to get sold on something right away. And then sometimes people don't sell at all, or in their content, right? In their actual, what they're putting out there on social media. So it needs to be balanced, but you definitely need to be sharing your offers. Okay. This isn't about doing more. All of these 3 things that I just shared, right? So the visibility, the connection, and the conversion. This is about doing the right things consistently and tracking them. All right. Okay. The 5th part to this is your daily rhythm of doing this. So I just shared kind of the core insight to the things that need to happen, but here's what this could look like for you. Okay. I'm going to share just personally what I do. So in the morning, when I am drinking my coffee is when I typically do either my Ignite activation 15 minutes, that's what we call it in our program, or my Ignite power hour. It just depends, right? It depends what I have going on, but I do at least 15 minutes. Okay. And this is how you don't want to be stuck in social media all day, in and out. Okay. So take time in the morning, or whatever that looks like for you, where you can do 15 minutes or an hour a day to do everything that I just shared. That is all that it should take. Okay. And most of this time should not be creating content. If creating content is taking most of this time, we need to talk. We actually have availability right now to take on some done for you content creation within our agency. By the way, we write the captions for you. We do strategy calls with you. It's super intentional, but we create it all for you, and then we give it back to you, and then you post it and you put it out there and distribute it. But it should not be taking you most of this time. As the CEO, you want to be spending most of this time doing follow-ups, visibility on maybe podcasts, things like that, but not on creating content. But that's what you want to do. You want to take time in the morning is what I do in the morning for that 15 minutes to an hour. Okay. And that's going to include your visibility, your connection, your conversion. And then at the end of the day is when you reflect on it. Okay. Now, if you don't have like 15 minutes to an hour in the morning to do, here's how I would break it up. I would do 15 minutes in the morning for visibility, meaning to put out some sort of piece of content out there. Okay. In the midday, take 15 minutes to connect with people, do the connection, the engaging, the DMing, the following up. At the end of the day, towards the end, when you're ready to close down your laptop, maybe that's when you start to do more of the following up for scheduling those conversion calls, or it's the conversion DMs. Okay. Making the offers. All right. And then on a weekly basis, reflect. Okay. Your calendar is going to be needed for this, like committing yourself to your calendar and actually like putting these time blocks in your calendar for yourself. So nothing else can be booked during those times. Okay. So a quick wrap up, how to create this weekly sales system that's super focused on visibility to profits, right? So remember, the first thing is the fundamentals. The fundamentals have to be there. Clarity in your positioning and your offers, a lead generation process, a follow-up system, and structuring and blocking out time. Those are the fundamentals, okay? Within that, you've got to have visibility, connection, and conversion time. And again, setting up your cadence, whether you do it all in the morning or you do in the morning, it's the visibility part, the midday, it's the connection part, the end of the day, it's when you get into the follow-ups and the offers, and then weekly reflect on all of this. And when your marketing has this rhythm, your sales actually become predictable, right? When these fundamentals are in place, then this is going to compound into revenue over time. All right. Bye, guys.